Hello class. Today we're going to go over 4.5 notes in Algebra 2. This is completing the square. For the first example, we're going to convert the function to vertex form and then graph it. Whenever it says convert to vertex form, that means we are going to complete the square. So I'm going to start by splitting this up. F of x equals x squared minus 2x on the left and put plus 7 a little bit further to the right. Now I'm going to take that middle term, negative 2, divide it by 2 to get negative 1, and then square it to get a positive 1. This 1 is going to be next to the minus 2x. If I add 1 there on the left, on the right I need to subtract 1. Now I write this as f of x equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. To factor it, open parentheses, we put an x first, and then you can use the number you got when dividing by 2 here, so it'd be a minus 1 squared. Last step is to take 7 minus 1 to get 6 and put it here. Now that it's converted to vertex form, we can graph it. Our vertex is at 1, 6, and our pattern is 1, 3, 5, 7. So I'm going to start at 1, 6, put a dot. For the pattern, I go over 1, up 3 on both sides of my vertex. Draw lines with arrows, and I'm done. In example 2, it says complete the square to solve x squared minus 10x plus 1 equals 0. It's a very similar process. We're going to start by splitting it up. X squared minus 10x on the left plus 1 equals 0 on the right. I'm going to take negative 10, divide it by 2 to get negative 5, and then square it to get 25. I put the plus 25 on the left. On the right, I have to do the opposite, so I subtract 25. When I convert this, I get x minus 5 squared, and then 1 minus 25 is minus 24, and this is equal to 0. So I completed the square first. Now I'm going to use the square root method to solve. So over here, I have x minus 5 squared minus 24 equals 0. I need to get that squared quantity alone, so I'm going to add 24 to each side. That leaves me with x minus 5 squared equals 24. Now I can square root both sides. This becomes the absolute value of x minus 5 equals, for the square root of 24, it's the square root of 4 times the square root of 6. We do want to simplify this. Since there's that perfect square in there, I need to rewrite it as 2 root 6. Now I can split it up. X minus 5 equals positive 2 root 6. X minus 5 equals negative 2 root 6. Add 5 to each side. X equals 5 plus 2 root 6. Add 5. X equals 5 minus 2 root 6. And we're done. In example 3, we're going to complete the square again to solve. 3x squared minus 36x plus 15 equals 0. This one is a little more complicated. We still begin by splitting it up. 3x squared minus 36x on the left plus 15 equals 0 on the right. We can't have a coefficient for x squared, so I need to factor that out. Take out the 3 and we get x squared minus 12x. Remember, we don't take that 3 out of the last term. The last term stays as is. Now we can take that negative 12, divide it by 2 to get negative 6, and square it to get 36. So I put a plus 36 in here, and then I close it. Now we didn't really add 36, we added 3 times 36, so we added a 108. Since we added 108 to the problem, we need to balance it out by subtracting 108 on the right. Now I'm going to rewrite this as 3 times x minus 6 squared, and then 105 minus, or 15 minus 108 equals negative 93 here, and that's equal to 0. So we did complete the square. Now that we've completed the square, we can go ahead and restart. 3 times x minus 6 squared minus 93 equals 0. We can use this to solve. Okay, so To solve, I'm going to start by moving the 93. I'm going to add 93 to both sides. 3 times x minus 6 squared equals 93. Then I'm going to divide by 3 to get x minus 6 squared equals 31. Now the squared quantity is alone, I can square root both sides. To get the absolute value of x minus 6 equals the square root of 31. Split it up, x minus 6 equals root 31. X minus 6 equals negative root 31. Notice I did not simplify this radical, and that's because 31 is not divisible by a perfect square. Now I'm going to add 6 to both sides. I get x equals 6 plus root 31. Add 6. X equals 6 minus square root of 31. And we're done with that problem. For the last example, we have a triangle, and it says the area of the triangle shown is 144 square units. What is the value of x? So they told us area equals 144. Since we're talking about area, we're going to use the formula for area of a triangle. Area equals 1/2 times base times height. I replace A with what they gave me, 144, equals 1/2 times, my base is the x plus 10, and my height is the 2x. Now it's important to remember that when you're multiplying values together, you don't have to multiply in the specific order, you can rearrange it. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 2x times x plus 10. So I get x times x plus 10 equals 144. I'm going to distribute the x. X squared plus 10x equals 144. Now we subtract the 144 from each side. 0 is equal to x squared plus 10x minus 144. So now we have a trinomial equal to 0, and we can solve it. We can solve this one by factoring. So I'm going to do 2 sets of parentheses, x and x. For 144, we can use 8 and 18. It needs to be a positive 18 and a negative 8 to get the 10 in the middle. Then I use zero product property to solve. X minus 8 equals 0. X plus 18 equals 0. I'm going to add 8 to each side to get x equal to 8. Subtract 18. X equals negative 18. Normally on a regular problem, we'd stop here and we'd be done. However, since we're talking about a shape and side lengths and area, we need to recognize that negative numbers are not a choice. So we're going to cross out negative 18, and our only answer for x is 8. For our last step, we just want to make sure that's what they asked for, and it is in fact what they asked for. They asked for the value of x. I always check because sometimes they ask for side lengths, so we want to make sure that we get the whole problem correct by finishing it. But in this case, we just need to say that x is equal to 8, and we're done. That's it for notes today. If you have any questions, be sure to contact your teacher.